Good evening and welcome everybody. My name is David Wood. I'm the Programs Director for Early Music America, and we want to thank you for joining us for our premiere this evening here on our YouTube stream. And if you're watching this later from wherever you are, I'd like to welcome members of the Ximenez Quartet and congratulate you for what was a phenomenal performance, production, wonderful. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And why don't I have you all introduce yourselves, and that way people can see who's sitting where.
Great. My name is Jessica Karotkin, and I'm the cellist of the Ximenez Quartet.
My name is Namgon Lee, and I'm the violist of the quartet.
And I'm Simon Alexandre, and I'm the second violinist of the quartet.
Hello, I'm Karin Cuella, and I'm the first violin of the quartet.
All right, thank you all. So obviously the music that we heard in the production this evening is from the composer for which you took the name for your quartet. So I'm sure everyone would like to know a little bit about how you came together as an ensemble and how you decided to name yourself after this composer, Pedro Ximenez.
So we all met each other in McGill University, doing different degrees, but we all figured out that we all play the period instrument and somehow get a link into early music. And we started to play as a quartet since 2009, September. 2019 September, and our main goal has been always for searching for underrepresented composers, such as non-Europeans and women composers, and that's how we came with the idea of having Ximenez's music as our main project for past few years.
Right. And I'll point out that you are joining us from Montreal right now, where you all met and began the quartet. So what was it that attracted you particularly to Ximenez?
Well, I am currently doing my PhD in musicology and researching performance practices of the first half of the 19th century in Bolivia and Peru, and using as a case of study the music of Pedro Ximenez Tirado. And it was actually for my first doctoral recital that I assembled this group of amazing musicians, and we decided to stay together after that. We have been working on the music of Ximenez and other, as Namgon said, underrepresented composers. But what I found so interesting about Ximenez, and that's why I'm researching his music, is that, well, first of all, we don't know much about him. We don't know much about how his music was performed or any other music for the sake of the 19th century in Latin America. And he's really the most prolific South American composer of the classical and early romantic styles. And so it deserves all the work and deserves, me pursuing this for my life and researching his music and researching all the contexts around his music production. And as you were able to hear, well, he's very special and peculiar because he can be considered as a proto-nationalist composer in the sense that he was already incorporating local sounds that can be spoken in terms of nationalism, and in the sense of using the yaraví or the huayno in both sacred and secular music, as you were able to hear in the quartet. In the Adagio con Sordina, it was a yaraví, and in the Meditaciones para el Quinario, we heard huaynos and gallinacitos. So that's what makes him so special, besides, the quality of his music and the quantity as well. He has composed around 40 symphonies, 200 pieces for the guitar, another 200 for the piano. He has also around 40 masses, passions, requiems. So it's really a lot of music that needs to be researched and needs to be also shared with the wider audience. So that's the work that we're trying to do at Ximenez Quartet.
And with so much repertoire, that's astounding. Do you have any current plans for taking on any of that repertoire or working with others to do that?
Yes, actually, the idea is that the Ximenez Quartet is going to be the seminal group of a much bigger project in which we will be able to perform the symphonies, for example, or the masses or the passions. So that's in the project of the Ximenez Quartet too, in the future. But we have other activities in the near future that Simon can tell you about.
Yes, so our next projects are, well, first of all, we're going to be playing music by Maria Maddalena Lombardini for a Montreal Baroque Festival. So we're, as we already said, we're trying to bring underrepresented composer on the musical scene. And we really believe in that cause because we think their music is worthy of listening. And then next, we're going to be going to Banff, but this is for formation, or how do you call it? Sorry.
Yeah, it's a workshop.
Yeah,
for string quartets.
Working as an ensemble, and then our next project is going to Brazil. Actually, we're going to be teaching and performing in Angra dos Reis, which is a city close to Rio de Janeiro, in October. So that's our next plans for the future, near future.
Wonderful. And you recently were able to travel to Bolivia, which we saw some of the content in the video, and performed there. What brought you to Bolivia for this particular trip with the quartet?
Right. So we were there for the festival. The 13th international, well, in Spanish is Festival Internacional de Música Sacra y Renacentista Misiones de Chiquitos. Yes. And we started out in Santa Cruz, and from there we went along to the various missions. We went to San Javier, San Jose, and San Ignacio, and then we finished in Ximenez's own town of Sucre and played in a cathedral that Ximenez would have been in during his lifetime.
I imagine that was probably a very rewarding experience after all the time you've been spending with his music.
It was.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, playing in the cathedral made us, of course, take different artistic decisions while we were performing, but also informed us about the space in which he worked and for which he composed, especially the Meditaciones para el Quinario. He composed them for the cathedral in Sucre. Yeah, and it was very special because also the audience in Sucre, they know about the composer. They cherish their heritage, so they welcome us very warmly, and yeah, it was just very, very special to play in Sucre's cathedral, and to also be able to access the archives. We were able to see Ximenez manuscripts there, both in the cathedral and in the National Archives, and be in touch with the physical space that he occupied in the 19th century.
And we do have a question a little bit about the repertoire, and the question is, do you know who would have been the original players who was performing this music when he was writing it?
Yeah, so then we know about the musicians in Sucre. They were all male, and they were all hired by the cathedral. Well, I have researched in the cathedral, so we do know about the musicians in Sucre. So then we can know who played, for example, the Meditaciones. But about the string quartet, we don't have that information because most likely he wrote these quartets and premiered them when he was still living in Arequipa, in Peru, where he was born. And yeah, so all documentation from his time in Arequipa is unfortunately lost, so we don't know. But
he played himself.
But we know that he composed this quartet for him to play in the cello, so we can know that he was a virtuoso player.
So the video, the performance was originally part of the Baroque Chamber Orchestra of Colorado, a series that they had, and then you've added some elements from your trip to Bolivia. And as part of this virtual emerging artist showcase, how do you see production like this? Obviously, you put a lot of effort into multi-camera shots and making a very high quality product. How do you see this as part of the quartet's careers moving forward? These high-end productions.
I couldn't catch everything, but producing video concerts, I think is very important now. Part of our plans is to produce to record all the surviving string quartets by Ximenez in 19th century salons that survive as they were in Sucre, in Bolivia. So we would like to record all the 3 surviving string quartets of Ximenez in a 19th century setup, salon setup. So then that will be one of our projects. And I think especially for the music of Ximenez, to make it widely known, we need to produce these videos, and that is part of our future plans too.
And what kind of advice would you give to other newer ensembles or ensembles who are getting into these kinds of projects, who are maybe moving beyond just the setting up a camera and recording a concert as you're doing a live concert? What kind of advice would you give to others who want to create this kind of production?
I think there's a really incredible opportunity to bring in iconography and artwork of the time of the composer that you're taking a look at, so that it can be a kind of a fully immersive artistic experience, something that you can't always have when you're just in a concert hall. And as you saw in this concert, we were able to bring you with us to Bolivia, which we couldn't have done in person unless we were in Bolivia. Yeah.
And were there things, how closely were you working with when you're looking at your videographers and your sound engineers and stuff? How closely were you working and thinking about the kinds of camera shots and the kinds of atmosphere that you were trying to create? And was there a particular one of you? Were all 4 of you kind of involved in that? How did that come together?
Having camera shot for this particular production was combination of as a member and obviously the camera crews and audio engineers. It was a bit of adventure because we never produced any of this kind before, and we were trying a lot of different ways to figure out what was the best. And my advice for the future, our taking from this, I think our plan is gonna be make the maybe something like a script or scenario before we produce the actual video, because having camera crews, and if we as a quartet didn't know exact picture that we want to be on the shot, it can be difficult for the after production. But we are very satisfied with this production, since we didn't know anything about this process, and we're very glad that this came out super nicely.
And it was really helpful to have a videographer and audio engineer who has music performance training themselves. So when we gave them the score, they were able to see, okay, there's a viola solo here, there's a cello solo here. And as you saw, they did a really fine job of zooming in on the soloist and panning out to the next person who grabs the solo from the last.
Yeah,
so that's a wonderful thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of having multiple cameras was also to recreate kind of trying to think how the audience could see us if we were in a salon format. So in this sense, looking at the string quartet, looking at each other, as opposed to in a half moon in a stage. Mm-hmm. So yeah, in the future, I would like to actually have maybe more cameras, or to play a little more around with the shots, the angles. So then the experience can be as immersive as or similar or close to being in a salon and being right behind us or right next to us, very close at least. Yeah.
And obviously, you were having to do all of this in the midst of COVID protocols and everything. And as we've heard from many, those by itself is a challenge to overcome. So I think that for it being your very first time producing something like that, and in the midst of everything else, we commend you. And EMA, we're very excited for the product that you were able to create in this beautiful artistic program that was there. Well, congratulations again. We're looking forward to hearing more from the Ximenez Quartet as you continue to highlight Pedro Ximenez music and music of others, including Lombardini. One of our commenters said they can't wait to hear the Lombardini. So hopefully there'll be a recording of that somewhere that people can listen to at some point in the near future. But thank you very, very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we want to remind everyone else, you can join us for our other 2 performances from the Virtual Emerging Artists Showcase on Friday, June the 3rd. That begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we have 2 concerts, one at 7 and one at 8. And you can find more information about that at our website, earlymusicamerika.org, or you can visit our main dashboard of our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/earlymusicamerica. Once again, thanks for joining us, and congratulations to Ximenez Quartet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for allowing us to do this.
Yes, thank you for the support.
Absolutely. Absolutely.